There's a super rare film that Kodak created for the US military to use in warfare, and it's beautiful, but it's been discontinued for years. And that beauty now comes at an exorbitant price. So let's fix that.
Oh, Jesus. No! Oh, bollocks. Look at what I'm doing.
Even if it does cause me a few headaches along the way.
Well, 11 for that one, I'm 14 for infrared for in a bit.
So here's the rundown. Aerochrome was originally developed by Kodak, slightly depressingly as most great things are that come out of America, for the US military, as a way to detect enemy positions and weapons placements, especially in densely forested areas. Cuba. Bay of Pigs. But you might be asking yourself, surely wouldn't anything like that be camouflaged anyway? Well, exactly, it would. Aerochrome is an infrared film, which in turn means it can image anything that reflects infrared light really well, and the opposite for everything else.
Nope, scratch that, reverse.
If you then use some unholy wizardry to change the parts of the image that highlight that infrared light to a colour like, I don't know, hot pink, then voila, those green camouflage things stick out like a sore thumb, literally. And then you have yourself a cheeky coup to overthrow a dictator. I mean, you have reasons for good science.
Nothing bad ever happens to the Kennedys!
So, as actual Aerochrome is so expensive, I decided to take the brute force frugal method.
Oh, sun's going in already. No. So just give me a second to meet everything.
Colour infrared film may be no more, but what is easily available and cheap is its depressed older brother, black and white infrared film. And what is colour, but a gamer's favourite thing, RGB. You can do this with any black and white film, it's called trichrome photography. You take 3 photos on a tripod in the same position, each one with a different colour filter, normally and fairly obviously red, green and blue. Then in post you combine those 3 separate images, which have each captured a different wavelength of light, and you end up with an okay image. But desperate times call for desperate measures, and Geordie needs his pinky hues. So just swap out the filters to ones that block different wavelengths of light, like infrared, and you've just become the Napster of the film world. I'm obviously not the first person to do this, and I'm definitely not the best one for explaining it. The tip-top camera boy Grainydays literally released a video 2 or 3 days ago, and I was supposed to post this video last week, so whoops. So I'll link to some people who do actually know what they're talking about down below. Anyway, after flipping the negatives in Lightroom with NegLab Pro, I moved over to Photoshop to combine them. I won't do a deep dive here as this was my first time and I was mucking around with a lot of settings, and I want to nail it down a bit more and do a better job in a future video. But just in case, the quick version is... Import your 3 images, blue, then green, then infrared on top. Put a colour mix adjust on each, and change the colours for each. So blue is blue, green is green, and infrared is just red. Set the infrared and green layers blending mode to screen. Adjust and line up the photos, and add levels adjustments to the layers that are looking a little too light or a little too dark to get the final image looking right. And this is how my first one came out. They do get better, I promise. I just overcooked the infrared photo a bit too much to save it.
Can we get around this way or not? No, we're going to have to go back down. Oh, damn it. Damn it, I don't have time.
I was panicking a little. As for the best results, you need direct sunlight to reflect off the plants properly.
I think there is, but it's so dark here. This isn't what I wanted. God damn it. Oh, that's a very nice photo. Oh, midges. No!
This one came out so much better. I genuinely did a little fist bump when it came out in the edit.
Oh, wait, oh, they're following me.
What is it? What is it? What is it? Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah!
And of course, I got instant karma when packing up for getting the shot right, even if I didn't realise it at the time.
Oh, Jesus. No! Oh, bollocks. Look at what I'm doing. Oh, that looks quite nice actually through here.
I only decided to take this one to use up a bit more of the roll while I still had a bit of summer sun left. And it turned out to be one of my favourites from the entire roll.
I'm just praying these exposures come out properly. So I've just seen the shot I want already. And I can just walk over to it, I think. That field over there. I hope no one drives into me, that's all.
And if the last one was my favourite, this grainy boy has to be one of the worst by far. I way underexposed the blue and green photos, meaning the grain really shows through. In general, the green photos seem to have the worst noise of all the photos, but even if I compare this one to the green channel from the last shot, you can instantly see how rough it is. As it was getting later and the sun had already started getting lower in the sky, I headed over to my parents to try and get one close-up shot in their garden. The sun was already getting quite diffused by the evening haze, but even if it is really dark, it still shows how different colour plants show up in infrared. And I also kind of like the moody, contrasty look, even if overall the photo is still pretty naff. The next day, the weather wasn't quite as bad as predicted, so I headed back out to make the most of it. I spotted this one the morning before location scouting by accident. And it's another one I didn't think of much at the time, but I actually really like it as well. The road does look a little green and funky, but that's just the RGB split from the tree above moving around. Then I moved on to the location I was actually scouting when I found the last one.
Let's have a look up here and just see what's up here while we're here. Ooh, underneath the trees. And it's a field. Maybe not. So what are we on now? We should, yeah, 24. So we should have like, what, 4 more shots? I'll be quite quick with this one because the rain's just been over and gone. Ooh, and I can see another cloud coming. Oh my God.
I quickly then popped over to a friend's stables who was around the corner for something a little bit different. This one's just a bit meh. There's nothing to contrast against the reds other than a tiny bit of mud path.
This is gonna be where I stack it, isn't it? Ooh, ow, knees. I'm gonna look at the poo, it's fine. So I saw this one driving along the other day. I think there is a spot just across from the entrance to it. Wait for the car. And off we go. Oh, into the nose we go, I guess. Oh, that's a lot deeper than I thought it would be. That's not great. Let's see, how's this shot even look? Let's go more this side. Well, I could always go back more down that little thing out of the brambles, I guess. Might look a bit nicer through the trees. Ooh, almost. Oh my God. Oh, the lens needs to be just a bit wider.
I originally went to take a photo of the church, but a mix of bad lighting and the lens not really being wide enough made it not worth it.
A 28mm lens instead of a 50, it might work, but oh, okay. There's no bueno.
But just behind me was the forest, so I thought I'd take a quick look.
Never been down here before, so we'll see. Well, it's very green. Ow. Probably should have scouted this one a bit better before I came over. I do kind of like this path though. Maybe the other way round is the only thing. I don't know why I'm spinning because it's a 360 camera, but like out that way. Seeing as we're here anyway, there's a nice tree in the center. Even though the potholes almost killed my car, we're here. Yeah, camera, I've taken 33 shots so far. Oh yeah, no, so I have got 3 shots left. And that's the view I'm thinking of there, like a nice big open vista.
And for my final shot, I went in thinking this would be my best. I even spent way longer waiting for the light to hit just right. The focus was off, as I'd forgotten to change it for infrared. As infrared is a different wavelength of light, it has a slightly different focus to normal visible light. That's what the little red dot on some older lenses is for. So while faffing about with waiting for the light, I completely forgot to change the focus. To be fair, this one's also lacking in the contrasting colours department, like some of the others I was way too hopeful for. And I think that might be one of my major takeaways from this, not to overly plan shoots for this process, as the lighting probably won't be alright anyway, and it's a lot easier to find a good shot on the day if you don't have something specific in mind. But I honestly also really like this process, even if it is a bit of a ball ache. I'll definitely be trying it again, and maybe one day I'll be lucky enough to get hold of some of that Kodak pink sauce. See you after Christmas, hopefully.